all, but it was a subject. And he said, are you for it? Or basically, I think that was it, you know, or against it. He said against it, but no, I said, are you for that happening? Or are you? And his answer was no. That's it. Now, he had like 30 seconds the way it was going. It was back and forth thing. He had 30 seconds. Who wastes 30 seconds? He didn't even pivot. He just said no. There's an embarrassing silence. And the guy, okay, and then he asked the next question, you know? And I thought, you bastard, you're going with some sort of perceived party line on this, and there isn't, or there shouldn't be. So I went there to ream them out and ask the Republicans who would show up, because that's where everybody who's who shows up on election day. You want to know where they're going to be this year on election day? They're going to be at the ocean, the county headquarters, the players, you know. So we went to picket there, and then I realized probably Tammy Murphy is going to be asked questions in at least an interview, a town hall, or something where people, where you know, and if that happens, she, you know, um, no, I'm sorry, Conaway would be asked that, but Tammy Murphy, Shirley's going to have time to ask him questions, and done the right way, whether she's for it or against it. She can certainly be against not letting patients know what broke, what got that law to be an outlier law where we were the first state to do this, to not have home grow. So that he announced it and has never told anybody why. He's either responsible for it or he's not. Was he? If not, who was? And why have you kept that a secret from patients all these years? What would happen if he was asked that question in an open setting like that? She'll have that opportunity. So I'm real, I don't know, I'm just feeling pretty good about some of the paths that are going to be crossing coming
Yeah,
up.
me too.
I'm very confident that Home Grow is going to get that hearing in the assembly. So,
Hi, Kristen. Hi, Wednesday. Good evening.
hey.
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Hi, indeed.
Well, let's get started. We don't have to have a vote tonight, but we can definitely get started. We don't have a quorum, but we can definitely.
Well, you know, most CMMJ, you know, they're a pretty good by the book organization, you know. And I'm real proud of that. And they have, we have four board meetings minimum per year. But you have in effect like 50 board meetings per year.
50.
And I'm thinking one every 3 months, seriously, was enough 20 years ago. Things didn't happen between monthly public meetings. Nothing would happen from 1 month to the next.
It's true.
You know, and it was amazing when there was something, you know, it was
a slow slog through the legislative mire for those years.
But
lately things have been moving fast, and I like it.
It's going to be, it's the assembly.
The assembly.
I think we would be wise to ask our sources. I consider Bill Caruso and Chris Goldstein to be my two go-to sources. And the question for them would be, and you know they want to provide an answer, you know, would be, how did we get so lucky that the bill, instead of being in Herb Conway's committee, where in 2009 he originally took it out and never told anybody, and then starting in 2001 on February 23rd, he refused to even have conversations about allowing it to be heard through verifiable constituent contact. That's, you know, Kathy being a constituent with everything I wrote for her since 2019. So anyway, how is it that we got not just lucky that it isn't in his committee? I was talking about it years ago. Can we have it taken out of his committee in some sort of move on him because of this, and all of a sudden it's happened. It didn't just happen. It's in a 5-person committee where the chairman is a co-sponsor and the vice chair is also a co-sponsor. The only 2 co-sponsors of the bill right there. Okay, we're not that lucky. We're not that lucky. How did that happen? What happened behind the scenes, Chris Goldstein, Bill Caruso? What, did somebody say, let's move it? Did Herb Conaway say, I don't want it in my committee? What happened? We're not that lucky. Patients haven't come in first for so long. It's not because patients are coming in first in anything. That means we're coming in second in a 3-man race. We just don't know what the other player is. And that's, by the way, an improvement to be second in a 3-man race than always second when it's 2 people. And what's not second is when we're third, somebody else in line. So, kind of like when Willie Beamer found out his case was postponed, and he not postponed, dismissed, and he came back out. He was like, "I don't know why." What do you mean you don't know why? What do you mean? What do I mean? When somebody said it's dismissed, I was heading towards the door. I didn't want to stay and talk about why.
Goodbye.
But then he found himself having to answer those questions, and he didn't know why. This is, we shouldn't be like that with this. Like, oh, it's a good thing. It's in this committee. We don't need to know why. I think maybe we do, because we're not that lucky. And if we don't know why, and it isn't luck, it had a purpose. It was a purposeful move. Why? It's an easy question, right? I mean, everything can't be a secret in the legislature about medical cannabis home grow. It can't be like, let's keep everything a secret. The bill was moved. It's a logical question. It doesn't even need to be in the context of the content of the bill. Why would that bill be moved to a committee from where it had no chance of being heard demonstratively to a place where it most certainly be heard? Unless Assembly Speaker Coughlin pulls a Scutari, which is the only thing that is going to stop it right now. Oh yeah, I did get confirmation from Coughlin's office, that we received your email. We'll blah, 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 and, let them know. We'll get back to you. But that was probably before they also got it from a hand-delivered point of view, where it was like, Senator Coughlin had this at the Assembly clerk's office in the State House. It was hand-delivered by somebody. Really? Yeah, the same guy they just got an email from. So I'm trying to then I'm about to mail him a copy of what would be the petition. And I'm not going to take credit for it. I'm going to say patient asked me to do this or whatever, because this is how we do these things. And I'm going to say that the letter that I originally wrote, the 463 word history of how we became where we are as no home grow state, which is a really short history, I'm going to follow up with the text of the petition before actually doing it, because patients have a right to be skittish about this. I mean, think about it. Scutari became Senate president. They were rightful to think, hey, that's good, he's not going to hold up a bill. I mean, he would never do that, and he did. So we can't just assume Assembly Speaker won't do the same, because we don't know certain things. So it's presented to Coughlin's office like, I'm sorry, we're not being accusatory here, but patients just want to know, will you allow it to be posted when Assemblywoman Reynolds Jackson asks committee chairman, damn, I forgot his name, but I won't when it matters. It's a simple question. Will you allow it to be posted if she asks him to do so? Having presented the history of what happened with the Senate blockade. So basically, I'm hoping it's pushing him towards thinking he's a little bit in a corner because he hasn't gone on record yet. And that's why I wanted to do this so that it wouldn't be a knee jerk reaction to anything, that he would have this before it ever came to him from any direction other than me. Nobody's pressing him. Hey, are you going to allow it? At least not from our thing. So I'm kind of happy about that. It's kind of, see, even that's motion. You can't wait for it to even be asked for. I haven't gotten back in touch with Assemblywoman Reynolds Jackson's office yet personally. I wanted to get all started. I did email her about what I sent to Coughlin. She was CC'd on it. So at some point, though, I gotta pick a 501c3 to be officially representing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it helps me when I'm doing this to name drop 501c3. So obviously it's going to be Sativa Cross, because I feel Sativa Cross is more focused on this than CMMJ. So I mean, I got to pick a direction. What do you call it? I got to hitch my horse to a cart. Hitch my cart to a horse. Whatever.
Are you going inside the State House next week to do some lobbying, to do some drop-offs and stuff?
No, you can't just go into State House to drop shit off. Apparently, I was met with. I mean, you can, but not like, yes, of course. I had to explain it to the state police that I'm allowed to do this. And I had to explain it to them and say, so I can wait while you call whoever it is you have to call to know that this is what I'm talking about, And then even when I got down to the Assembly Majority Office, and she told me, oh, no, we don't take email. We don't take things to give to Assembly representatives, through this office. And I go, sure you do. And explained to her that, in fact, they did. She was there 6 years, and I know I'd been there before that, but the Senate office does too, or maybe they don't. Point is, I want to do another all by myself, walk in there before. I'm not sure. I know what the rules are as they were, but I don't know how they're going to be viewed by state police now. It's been a while, apparently. I was surprised at, and the Assembly Clerk's office was fine to do that. I mean, so that's the same function, but there's nobody there that would have anything to say about it. So I don't know how good of a demonstration or demonstrative process that is, but it's fun to do, even if it's just an in, hand it off and see what's up, talk casually for a second or two and go. But I can do that by myself just easily, but it's fun to do. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be going back. It's 25 minutes away exactly. I was there and back. I was probably there 25, 30 minutes. It was kind of fun explaining to that woman in front of the suits that were there that I guess it was a little bit of an embarrassment to her to find out that when she said, when I said, you used to do that? And she says, we've never done that. And I asked her how long she worked there then. And she said 6 words. And I said, no, 6 years isn't never. Sure you did. But anyway, that was fun. Because then, I don't know why, it's that close, and there is going to be things going on. And the only reason I did this in person was because Coughlin's office also got it from being delivered in person to the State House, which is just different. That's all. It just separates it from every emails and the things that they get. And then, like I said, when I follow it up tomorrow or the next day, it's a simple question. Will you allow this bill to be posted, or are you going to pull a Scutari? Okay, that's not how I word it, but that's the question. Because that's the only thing that stands between this bill getting heard and not. My God, the chairman's a co-sponsor. We went from Assemblyman Conaway The man that pulled it out that never said why it got pulled out. The man that refused for 3 years to even consider
Don't scoot the
posting
bill.
it.
Don't
Yeah.
scoot the bill.
And
Hello,
so
Mr. Duff.
anyway, hey, Patrick.
By the way,
Yeah, but by the way, this is a good riddle. You missed this part.
no, I already heard it. I have. That's why I'm calling in for your answer.
No, the why was it assigned to a committee that went from the worst possible to the best possible committee? How did that happen? We're not that lucky.
So the way it works is in subcommittees, which these are. You have the different subcommittees. They have a chairman. The chairman of the subcommittee selects what goes up. But basically, people that are in that committee or outside of the committee can pitch it to that chairman of the committee. So that's why it switched committees, because you had somebody who wasn't friendly towards the bill, I'm sure, and you have two people that are on a separate committee. So they can do that. That's how you jockey a bill.
Why did it take 3 years to do? It was in Conway's committee for the best part of the second half of the session, and then for an entire another session. Why wasn't it out before that, though?
That's not a question I could answer. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. No. It's a question that would be nice to have answered. I just sometimes you have better insight to these things than me.
Because there's no political pressure.
Bill Caruso will fire off a theory, and Chris Goldstein.
There's no political pressure for it, Bill.
I know.
So I mean, that's the deal. Okay, I'll give you an example. Today,
it's curious.
I was at the federal courthouse for Andy Kim's hearing on the line, and there was 80 people out front with signs protesting and really getting into it.
Really?
Yeah, and so that the county line, whether it gets abolished by this court decision or not, has a heavy political push right now. And the issue is, I mean, if you want to ask me, is there's no political pressure for them to have to do it. They feel that legalization is a large enough step that they took, and they don't want to take a further step because it's not politically expedient.
With they, who do you mean they, pronoun-wise?
Oh, the entires, Scutari, Governor Murphy, all of them.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about a bill getting a hearing, not a vote. Not a vote. We're talking about information. And you're right. They don't want the information. But see how it sounds different when I say it?
No, what I'm saying is there's no sake for them for politically expediency. There's
Exactly. So it has to be something they want to avoid happening. Make it not just expedient, but inexpedient for them. Is that a such word?
But you want to hear my what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
The way that Andy Kim made that difference is he filed a federal lawsuit, even if the lawsuit loses. Okay, so enough yapping. Why don't we sue? Because in court today, one of the main arguments for abolishing the line was 49 other states don't have county lines, right? So
yeah.
Let's say the judge rules with the 49. With just New Jersey, and goes against the other 49 states, that would seem that New Jersey is an outlier, right?
Define it as an outlier.
But listen to me, though. Listen to me. And the judge made this really clear, and so did the council, that all we're asking for is New Jersey to fall in compliance with the other states. We're not asking for something that other states don't have. The other states have a fair bracketing system for elections. The other states have home grow. So it's the same argument. It's the same exact argument, because 36 states have home grow and one doesn't. You catch me?
That is exactly what I was saying the last time I was at the State House speaking with everybody else about this, about home grow. Exactly what you just said, Pat. Yeah. I said that we got to look at the fact, we got to stop saying, here's why we want it. We want to know why you are okay with us being an outlier state. The burden of proof is on you to justify our outlier status. That's what I said. I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And you have a couple different arguments, right? So remember, you have to have injury, right? So you have to say you're injured.
You have to have a lawyer.
No. Listen, are you sure you can have a lawyer? But
Well, you asked, your question was, why don't you sue? I don't want to interrupt because I do that too often.
You don't
But
need a lawyer.
that's the answer to me, I guess, because I don't have a lawyer.
Okay, so there's a couple different ways to do it, right? So as a nonprofit, you don't want to sue as a nonprofit. You have to get an attorney, but you can sue by yourself, pro se, and the system.
No, you could. A lot of people could. I can't. You know me.
Correct, but that doesn't. I'm not talking just to you, Jim. I'm talking to
Thank
the
you.
way-
This is great.
yeah, the way that I just what I saw today. What I saw today with all the attention, it's on every news channel. I mean, it was unbelievable the amount of people in the news that were there for this change in the New Jersey Constitution. In a sense, if the judge rules that, he's going to basically rule against the current voting bracketing system that we have, right?
Oh.
So if a judge can do that, he can void that policy, or he can, in a sense, I don't know how do you say it, but almost diminish the laws against growing pot. In some way, there's got to be.
Oh, they'll find a way. There's a path to it.
If a judge can force the state to redo all of their ballots because they're found to be unconstitutional and not in line with the other states that 49 other states, then I don't see how we could lose an argument saying, hey, the 36 other states have this. We're the only one without it. Not only is there injury, but we have, people that are, we could name people that have been recently arrested for growing. Willie Beamer, people like that, there's people in jail right now for it, so, but that's just where I say, when I saw it today, I said, wow, man, even if his lawsuit loses, he created political expediency for the legislature to have to act because the public it's I hate to say it, but when there's that media there, right, it doesn't even matter if there's 25 people or 2,500 people there. The media, the way that they focus makes it seem like there's more than there were.
Well, they do that every time.
Yeah, so
That's
all
the job.
things, maybe in the next I mean, I'm involved in 2 lawsuits. I wrote both lawsuits. I'm suing a lawyer for legal malpractice, and I'm suing a township and a guy that stole my car. But so it's not that hard.
No, it's not that hard for you. I'll call myself an idiot when it gets to doing things like this done. But I've always relied on, if I'm half the idiot I think I am at getting something like this done, what I do is I fill a void somebody else has that doesn't do something I could do. You know what I'm saying?
I also think something like this could get funds raised.
It's a great idea. It's as exciting hearing you say it as hearing me say it. But it's more exciting somehow hearing you say it because everything you said is obviously totally correct, but understandable at a core level. It's not like I like your energy for having just watched it, watch it happen.
Yeah, I didn't. It actually hit me when I was watching the case.
Right.
Wait, if that's the argument, we just it's interesting. It's so interesting is, and I'll tell you, when I was waiting to get into the courthouse, there was a long line of people, and they're talking about abolishing the line. This is like the end of this New Jersey line system, and sometimes things that are so standard in your day are so powerful because of the context of the situation. And a woman walks up to me and she looks at me in the eyes and she says, "Sir, is this the end of the line?" I said, "Well, it depends on what the judge says." She was asking if that's where she should stand.
I know.
So I'm saying, why can't something similar happen on this side and at least get the attention it deserves? People don't even know people are still going to jail.
Well, it can happen on this side. It's not why it can't. The answer to that is it can. But we need at least a good core group of people with the same energy to make that happen. My question is, how can I help make somebody make this happen? I can help.
Start a fundraiser
No, somebody else has to do that. I can't do it. First of all, haven't had a bank account or a credit card in 15 years.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
saying, you have a nonprofit, right? Your
No.
the nonprofit you have, Sativa Cross, is a 501c3.
They have me. They have me. I don't have that.
It's a tax deductible organization, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well, Lefty, he's talking to you now.
Bill Caruso, all these people that you see up there, you listen, they have money. You know what I mean? And they love you guys. And I bet you've never even asked them for money yet.
I would never thought
I'm
to.
not good at that.
It was pretty low down on my list. But the thing is, I've been getting on myself in the recent past here about not really giving things a try. The example is I'm trying to learn to play the piano. I'm like 71. I'm trying to learn, and I'm making incredible progress quicker than I could have imagined, proving myself that I should have done a long time ago. What I mean to say is it could be a case of that here. It's like right in front of you, and it does work, but I don't know lawyers who would do this. I certainly don't have money, but you pretty much answered everything before me saying that, correctly.
Yeah, listen,
Which is pretty cool. Have that kind of conversation where you're giving me all the answers to questions I haven't asked yet.
But the other day,
that was interesting.
the other day when I listen, and I'm telling you, this whole driving to Trenton thing, whatever it may be. I mean, the offices up there are cheap. That place, what's it called? That Phil has. I mean,
yeah, Hub 13.
I bet you he would give you guys an office and
He would.
and have it as a tax write-off, because he can write off the $400 a month. He can write that off. You understand?
Okay, are we going live here, Lefty?
We are live, and you can donate to Sativa Cross at sativacross.org in the shop.
Shop. I'm just saying that, like, this is really interesting, but it's not something I'd prefer to talk about over such an open forum.
We can do executive session after this, but
well, I mean, Patrick would have to be in the conversation, but I think he understands my excitement for what he's saying, and we can be in touch with each other after this. We don't have to talk here. We can talk anywhere we want.
Yeah, I'm just saying, listen, and what I was trying to say is, when I was there the other day, not just today, but the other day for the Oprah hearing, there was so many powerful people in that room that all smoke pot. They and we sit there conversation. Bill Caruso was against the bill that I was speaking.
Yeah,
of.
You said. I was surprised.
So, but but we had an opportunity to sit there and talk. So if there's that, have a place afterwards, we can bring these folks. Say, hey, come sit down. Let's show you what we're doing. Show what we're trying to do. What we're hoping to do is create enough noise around a federal lawsuit to force New Jersey's hand into allowing for home grow.
That's an interesting combination, adding Hub 13 right there in Trenton around the corner.
Exactly.
That's a very interesting part of the puzzle.
That's what it's meant for.
Awesome. Wow.
So it's just when I see it, and then having that central spot there in Trenton will give more legitimacy to Sativa Cross, and then see people go, oh, I can send a letter to, that office, and that goes to them, and then all of a sudden people start I'm telling you, they want to donate to getting home grow. When people realize that people go to jail for this still, that nobody knows that.
Yeah, they'll definitely be like this. Phil Charles and me go back long enough that before I even hurt my feet, he was here doing his film work, interviewing some children that were here, as well as a couple of patients. It was Tuffy and Ricardo were here, and I forget which else, but it was that long ago. And Phil always, he's one of those people that has a higher regard for me than I deserve, but I can't do anything to dissuade him. So he'll like being part of this.
Use the resources. You know what I mean?
No, this is great. You know, I've already got my money's worth from this meeting. I mean, if okay, we're done. This is a good. I get
I
to
gotta
take
go.
something away from the meeting here. I'm happy about that.
I got to go do a bunch of things, but I just want to let you know my
Oh man,
yeah. I
Pat,
got
that's awesome. No, no, I'm just
Pat, I gotta
saying,
tell you
like
one thing.
you punched credibility for having the meeting every Monday, just stopping in and stirring a pot, so to speak.
Pat, before you go, I got to
And
tell you one
I'm
thing.
sure we'll be talking about that in your absence. So thank you.
Pat, before you go, I got to tell you one thing. People are they are going to jail, but people are also suffering because there's no caregivers. My friend Rowan, who was a former board member of Sativa Cross, she's in the an acute care center. They took away her glaucoma medicine, which is her cannabis. So now her eye pressure is increasing and increasing and increasing, and she's not getting that sight back that she's losing for this
Mm.
past month that they're denying her this medicine. They're
Mm.
telling her she can't even leave the property to go use it off property because it's federally funded. You can't even have it in the facility. So she's literally suffering in this facility where it's supposed to be taking care of her, and she's literally dying on something that's been passed. This caregiver law has been passed, and there's still no caregivers.
Really, I did not know that.
I just made a video about her. I'm going to edit this video, and I want you to see it. And it's disgusting what they're doing to her in there.
Wow.
Now, I am actually a caregiver, but only for my daughter. But I would absolutely sign up to caregive any patients.
They won't
And
allow it.
I
They
know,
won't allow the nurses to distribute the cannabis because they're federally funded. The nurses cannot touch it. They will take it away. They'll confiscate it, but they will not touch it. And they'll kick you out if you have it too.
Mm. All right. Well, you all have a good night.
Good night,
You too,
Pat.
brother. Thank
My-
you.
My suggestion for something like that, Lefty, is the same exact thing. Talk about standing. Oh my God, that woman right there has standing for what's called an emergent hearing. You know, you can get what's just like Andy Kim did, get in front of a judge within 2 weeks. You know, that to me is heinous.
It's absolutely terrible what they're doing to her.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Here's a question, right? So, I mean, it's not even a question. It's just the truth, right? So, if somebody goes to the Liberty Bell right now, right, and it's decriminalized in Philadelphia, pot, do you think they're arresting people for pot at the Liberty Bell still?
No.
Maybe we should test that again. Hey, Chris Goldstein, let's go to
Keep going around that circle.
Hey, you got it. Can I'm not gonna, this is not being mean, but I think that Chris made Fat Joe look skinny.
He actually said that himself.
I know. It looked like he ate a part of Fat Joe.
Oh, he was standing. He was highlighting that.
I'm kidding. Listen, that was pretty cool, but I got to tell you, if I was in front of Kamala Harris, I wouldn't be able to hold my tongue.
That's why you weren't in front of Kamala
I don't
Harris.
think
and
he
he
did.
was.
She locked up more fucking pot smokers than any fucking cunt in California history.
I don't think he held back. I think he's had a conversation with her about it. He made a video about it.
Good. Well,
She has to address that. It's the elephant in the room. You have to address that. How can you be a cannabis on the board for cannabis after your history of what you've done?
how about the fact that Fat Joe doesn't smoke pot?
When I change my sheets again.
The only time Fat Joe's ever smoked pot, he talks about having a psychic, going crazy and freaking out and running the streets and shit. Like, that's the guy you got in there for marijuana? Did you know that?
What is his story with marijuana?
He doesn't smoke pot. He ain't no fucking pot. Go look it up.
He got busted with weed, though, or something?
No, he's just a celebrity. Can I tell you what the issue with Fat Joe is? Fat Joe acts like he's black and he's white. And if you look at his, like, literally his, I think it was like when he was booked or something, like in 2012, he put white, and they're selling him like some black guy with his beard all trimmed up and shit. And it's just an odd thing. He's just an odd. Fat Joe's always been an odd dude. But he doesn't like pot. He's not a good pot. He's not a big pot guy. So, just a weird guy to have in there for that, in my opinion. And Kamala Harris is weird too, and Chris is weird. But so it was a great convention. I'm an asshole.
think we're all little assholes.
But yeah, I can tell you though, Andy Kim, I got him today. So good. I asked him about the Maple Shade, about cleaning up with his kids, and he's like, no, there was trash there. I was like, there was no trash there, Mr. Kim. But I also got Mr. Kim because he said, in 2022, Kim had an opponent, and the opponent sued him to try to get a fair election, right? And people just want to try to forget about that. They don't know about it. So now Kim is suing to get a fair election, and the reporters ask him, well, what about your opponent saying that the last couple of years you've used these advantages to your favor? And he says, well, the first 2 times I ran, I didn't even have an opponent. And he goes on to this whole bullshit thing. It's what they teach you in politics school. They divert the question, So I then said to him, I said, hold on here. I'll send you the video. Mr. Kim, I said, in 2022, you had a candidate running against you that sued the Mercer County Convention because they didn't even give him access. And now you're calling for fairness, but you didn't call for any fairness in 2022. Don't you think that's being a bit of a hypocrite? And he's, I don't recall that. I don't recall. Yeah.
How convenient.
How convenient, Mr. Kim. But you just recall.
Let me tell you backed him into a corner. That was awesome.
Oh,
you had nothing else. That is the last bastion of anybody's defense. Is the Ronald Reagan? I don't recall.
Yeah,
I don't recall.
Man.
I don't recall saying it in that context.
Bill Clinton used it too. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, let's see. We could go around that block how many times?
But you guys enjoy your meeting, and I will I will help you with that next lawsuit portion though. All right.
Oh yeah.
Peace.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Duff.
That was some interesting direction he brought us.
The rabble rouser. He's the best.
Duff is amazing.
Yeah, but
He's-
it
He
was
really
like
is.
his idea about doing certain things through Hub 13, like actually having an address as a Trenton office or something. In other words, you have an address for your 501c3. You can also have a Trenton office. You can receive mail there and everything. Phil would do that if I asked him to. I don't have to tell you, but he absolutely would.
It's a good spot. I didn't know what they had going on there. I was never upstairs. I finally went upstairs. I was like, oh, really nice.
Well, listen, one of them cubby holes, it could technically be your Trenton office.
And we need one. We're in Trenton so often, especially this year. We're going to be there monthly this year.
Wouldn't it be nice to just have all your stuff there and not in your car, and you can just, grab it from there?
Yeah, you never know.
Like some equipment, an extra table, like whatever.
Yeah, you never know. It's really good ideas to have a place down there. If it's free, take 3. We're broke. So by the way, our funds, we didn't do our moment of silence or nothing. Let's do a moment of silence, even though it's not a quorum. Moment of silence for our friends and family who are not with us, and that means smoke them if you got them. For our friends that are still waiting, we got $345.98 in the bank. We got Burn Up Cleanup coming up on April 14th. We got Hot Box for Home Grow next Thursday.
Is that a Saturday, April 14th?
Yes. No, that's probably a Sunday. Probably Sunday. Hold on. Usually it's Sunday.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
That's what a mute button for.
I have trash for hash.
Okay, what time is that from? When to when?
Uh,
On Sunday?
let me get the event page. Hold on.
I'm
Trash
going
for
over.
hash.
We could have another moment of silence while you do this.
Well, I guess we can continue the moment of silence while I'm doing this. That's a good idea. Bones for Basura. There's no event page for this yet. There's a flyer. There's just a flyer. I guess I better make an event page. Give me a second here. I got Sunday 4/14, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The Dover Greenway. It's the river area there. Corner of Mercer Street and River Street. And it's joints for junk. Grabs for diapers.
Yeah. I'm at the 50% that I want to attend one of the cleanups, and this is the kind of weather I would rather be out in rather than later in the summer when it's hot. So, thing is, I'm in Tongues River every Sunday, but I believe it'd be possible to switch the family Sunday to Saturday because family's getting smaller. So. Anyway, yeah, I think I'll make this one. Good potential. Well, let's put it at 55%.
Kristen, you should come to this one. The last time we were out there, there's a man that came out there who cleans up this area, this same river area. He's always cleaning. And he owns a testing facility right there. There's a big white building right there that he owns. That's a testing facility. It's not testing cannabis, testing everything else but cannabis. And his son wants him to get involved in testing cannabis.
Where is this?
This is in Dover, up in Dover, New Jersey.
Yeah, prior to testing cannabis, I worked at an industrial hygiene testing facility here in Mount Laurel as well. He did like asbestos, lead, and mold, and all that.
Yeah, he's talked a lot about what he had to go through with the state for calibration, like monthly calibrations. I guess it was, right? Is that how it goes?
It depends on the state regulations. So under ISO 17025, mainly annual calibrations for like your big equipment, like your pipettes, your weighing equipment, and all of that. But you do like monthly verifications, which can be done in house, so you don't have to have like an external accredited third party come in and do that or send them out. But yeah, it's really dependent on your different state regulations. So some are more highly regulated than others. Under ISO 17025, you basically are just complying with your internal like quality management systems, and then in cannabis, anything that the state requires beyond that.
Yeah, you guys have really in-depth conversations about the batch testing and just the really intricacies of what goes through with the testing. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Opening up my mind to that, learning a whole new science. I was never good at science, but this interests me. Science didn't really interest me, but this interests me because it's if it's going to help patients, I need to figure out how to help patients the best way possible. And knowing how often we need to test. And I know that some people want us to test our home grow,
Hmm.
and I would like that too, but I'd like to be subsidized by the government to do that.
Yeah, I know that there were some pretty good suggestions on how to use, like taxes and things to contribute to like a fund to allow for patients once home grow is legalized to be able to test their product. And I think that's really positive. I think it should be obviously a choice. I don't think that they could mandate testing. For everyone, and or that they should, but I think that those who would like testing should have access to it at decreased costs. One of the things with testing, depending on what you're testing for, I mean, testing for like pesticides is pretty expensive just because of the low levels of protection that we have to use. But if you're growing at home and you're not using any pesticides, like you can really need that test. So I think just like being smart about what type of testing that you would get would go a long way, and also reducing those costs. And then having like the CRC fund some of that testing would be ideal.
So typically, if I'm growing, if I grow a pound of weed in 90 days, is that too little, or maybe 2 pounds of weed? How much typically would I need to give the testing lab to really have a good, concise test that I would need for everything?
Well, under the, let me just calculate this out. Under the current state regulations, you would actually only have to test like 2 grams out of that for it to be quote unquote representative. But depending on what you're testing for, I would try to get a representative sample. So taking from multiple areas within the batch and maybe like 10 grams. I think that would give you a large enough subsample to where you're covering a few areas of the plant, which could, it's not going to be completely the same from bud to bud or anything like that. So you just want to get that average. 10 grams would also allow a lab to run most of the tests that you would need, and then you could pick and choose. If you don't want pesticides because you're not putting pesticides on your plant, then certainly don't need to get that test.
Yeah, I've seen what pesticides look like under the microscope on plants.
Yeah.
So these weird geometric shapes, and like, wait, what?
Mhm.
Scary looking. What are some of the worst things that you've seen in? Have you seen some really crazy stuff in testing? Like stuff that really like what is that doing in there?
More on like the synthetic cannabinoid side, so like Delta 8 and all those kind of products. There's like a ton of contaminants in
Ton of what?
contaminants like
Oh.
we're test for everything, but we see a lot of anomalies, I guess I would say, in those samples where there's like unidentified compounds that are being used, and there's also like a really a widespread mislabeling happening throughout that industry where they'll label something as HHC or THCP or some other synthetic cannabinoid, and it's just Delta 8 or just watered down Delta 9. Like it's not actually what it's labeled as.
Do you think they're selling this Delta 8 in the streets sometimes? Because sometimes I've seen weed in the streets that's just like regs. It's out there. It's like regs. I'm like, really? People still smoking that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they would sell in the street because you could just go into the gas station and buy it, but I'm sure people do. I don't know. I think the Delta 8 stuff is pretty disgusting. Just, if you're buying Delta 8 flower, just sprayed hemp flower, and it's probably outdoor, grossly contaminated hemp, like just sprayed with synthetic cannabinoids. So I wouldn't recommend using that.
No. Oh my goodness. I want testing. I want my stuff tested. I want to know what I'm doing wrong. If I'm doing it wrong, if I'm correcting my screw ups.
Well, New Jersey actually set up the testing regulations to actually be pretty accessible for people. So they do allow, unlike some other states, they do allow consumer testing. So anyone off the street can test with a licensed laboratory.
I know you were asking about that video. Yeah, I'm going to work on that. I just made a video of Rowan. I think you might have heard us talking about it before. She's in a facility and she has glaucoma, and they won't allow her to use her cannabis. The only thing that helps her is cannabis. The pills don't help her. None of that other stuff that for glaucoma helps her. So now she has to have surgery on her eyes because she's been in there for a month without her cannabis. Her pressure is getting intense, and it's really sad what they're doing to her.
Yeah,
And I just can't believe it. I went down there. I gave her some of the CBD, high CBG, and some edibles, and a few joints. But they won't let her go out and smoke joints. They won't even let her outside to do that. They have a courtyard where you can smoke cigarettes.
Oh, that's insane. I mean, yeah, that's terrible. I think that especially coming off of the public comments from the last CRC meeting regarding the limited access to caregivers within the program, this would be extremely powerful to get in front of the CRC in whatever way that you can.
Is Rowan still a patient, registered patient?
Yes.
So registered patients are allowed by law to use their medicine wherever people smoke cigarettes.
But this is a federally funded facility, and
I'm just saying that it's federally funded, so it gets to go against state law. But that doesn't mean the fact that it's going against state law should be not part of the narrative.
Yeah. They won't even let her leave the property to go use it. Which is crazy. Like I'm like, what happens if you leave the property? Because I don't know.
How long is she destined to be there? Is there a prognosis for her time there?
She's getting out soon.
Relative to what?
Relative to I don't know.
Soon.
I mean, they give her uncooked food.
In a week, a month.
She's been in there a month, so she's hoping to get out any day now. But
is there stipulations as to why she's not out yet? Like they still say they have to meet certain criteria and make sure that she's able to have certain things done for her where they release her to.
She has to climb 12 steps because she has 12 steps to her apartment, so she needs to be able to climb 12 steps, but she's not going to be able to do. She has
couldn't Bob come in and say, "Look, here's how I carry her," and walk with her around? Listen, I used to carry Jackie Rickard up 3 flights of steps to Gary Stork's apartment, and she could get to where she was holding on to something and her walker thing, and I'd back up in front of her, and I'd get down like this, and she'd sort of, in effect, squat over me and get her arms over me, and I'd remain in that posture so she couldn't slide off. But that was never enough for me. Always to lighten the situation, I'd make like an elephant getting down because I had my arms free, actually, and I'd get, no matter where we were, and she knew it was coming. So but the point is she could be gotten up and down. I mean, does she need to do it by herself when she's cohabitates with somebody who can do it for her? Because there's a lot of things Cheryl couldn't do for herself. Never kept her because she could only move her head. I moved everything else for her. I'm just saying, if I am heartbroken at the extreme to which this has gone for her.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. I'm going to edit this video tonight, and you'll hear your story, and it's absolutely disgusting.
No, I'll watch it as soon as it's ready.
I want to take her out, but she says she can't. She can't go out. They won't let her out. What? Like a prisoner? Ugh.
We should do what we do best. Go and hold some signs up out front.
Well, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, that never makes your life easier when
It
you're the
never
person.
helps them though. It doesn't help them. It just
Well,
escalates.
then, how about after the fact? Do a little
Well,
post
yeah,
mortem right out
yeah,
there.
yeah. There you go. That's fine.
How about we commemorate it and make sure that if she has to go somewhere, it will never be that place again. Look,
She goes for
somebody
it.
has to be the trail person, making it not okay for people to do that and then turn away like nothing ever happened when something happened and it affected somebody's life and it'll affect her life forever, as miserable as it was for her.
She
No,
lost
maybe
vision.
they shouldn't have the right to just turn away. I mean,
Lost
it's simple as standing there with a sign. Trust me, people remember that stuff. I remember 35 years ago, a place called Brick Church, an appliance place on Route 37 towards Toms River. A guy was out there with a sign about how they were unfair about something, and it was like 9:30. They opened at 9, and he was there at 9:30. I did what I did. I was coming back at 10, and he was gone. And he wasn't gone because he got tired and went home. He was gone because he got satisfaction. Seriously, why would I remember that? I mean, it's. I'm feeling a little bit that way tonight. It's displaced from home grow at this point to Rowan, but it's the same route.
Well, we got two sides to this sword. We got people that are suffering financially and to get their home grow, and then people that are literally suffering in these caregiver situations that don't have caregivers. Where's your caregiver? Where is the person that's supposed to give her cannabis? They're taking it away. They're doing the opposite of what they're supposed to be doing. It blows my effing mind, Jim.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
know
Me too.
what the F. Like, how do you go from totally not caring to caring? You gotta. It's like it's not even halfway. You're not even meeting her halfway. Like you're not
Well,
turning your head. You're not saying, "Okay, go over there." No, there.
I've I've come to know it's not uncommon in other facilities that it's a wide umbrella rehabs. And right now, I got a stepdad one. He hadn't had a shower in a week, and they're supposed to do it twice a week. And brother Kevin's getting him out promptly and pretty much taking him back. We're firing them and do the best we can, or maybe get them to another facility. But anyway,
You have to have an advocate there because my aunt was in a
yeah,
facility like that. They left her in her bed. They wouldn't put her hearing aid in. When the hearing aid was in, it was the batteries were dead. She was in. She would lay in her urine for an hour. It was ridiculous the way they treated people. And they'd steal
yeah,
her stuff. They had to write her name on all her stuff because they would steal it. So then have to go around the facility to everybody's room to get all her stuff back that people stole. And I would just go in people's room and take it back.
it's not uncommon.
No, no, it's not. You have to have someone there with you all the time. That's the thing. Better off having a nurse come to your house.
Yeah. Well, joke on us is we actually had recommendations on two, and one was supposed to be far superior to the other, and felt very fortunate to get them in there, only to find out it wasn't. You know, but I have while it's not near me, the other brothers are in the hands-on situation, so you know. And that's not the case for everybody, though, like Rowan and William Haney and others. I've been kind of letting him down lately. I haven't seen him in quite a while.
Yeah, I haven't heard from William.
Yeah, that's kind of my fault. Sometimes my plate gets full, and there's a natural selection of triage. You don't have to think it out. You only have so much to go around sometimes. I don't know about you. I only do. So
So that's all we got, really. We don't really have a quorum, but it doesn't matter. We're not voting on anything. But on the agenda, I just went through the agenda. There wasn't much. I still need to do the brochures in Spanish. So next Thursday is our big hot box for home go at the State House. So come on out to that. And that's about it. That's all I got.
Okie dokie.
I did have one more thought, real quick. See, I'm the kind of person, I start thinking about it like on Pi Day, March 14th, because Pi's 3.14 forever. I just got on a kick and I memorized 95 digits of pi. I never made it to 100, and I just gave up on it. And it never became a situation where I got to show off my prowess, you know. But much like that, I decided that I'm finally going to really school myself on the endocannabinoid system. Sometimes I have a hard time understanding some things, but considering I wouldn't have to know an incredible lot about it to be the smartest person in the room on that subject in almost any room I'm in. You know, I mean, much like I'm trying to play the piano now and finding out I can, son of a bitch, I should have done a long time ago. Because sometime it's going to come in handy. And the whole thought was in my opinion, that's the one thing that gave legitimacy to the entire medical cannabis discussion instantly and irrevocably turned the tide. And that was in the mid 90s. And I started thinking, mid 90s, shit, that was 30 years ago we found out about that. And now we know a lot more about it. And the fun part is the endocannabinoid system, we're hardwired for it. It's in our bodies. And if you are a person who is, well, our bodies we're made by God, you know, we're God's creation. And his creation can consist of something with an endocannabinoid system. And I don't believe it's a poison apple type thing. I'm just saying that at that point, to be in a discussion with somebody where it's about like two things and I'm the smartest person in the room on one of them, I can even the playing field just on that. Because to me, it's an amazing thing that we didn't develop it because we smoked pot a lot. You don't develop one, you're born with it. And people had it when they didn't know what it was. And people had it that didn't know what marijuana is. And how long have we had it? When did we get these? Did we always have it? An endocannabinoid system? I'm guessing we did. Was that an evolutionary process? See, it's an amazing thing. We're hardwired. And that is an amazing thing. And I'd like to keep people aware of that only in so much as the fact that I like Lefty, that you get back to the fact that people are suffering often. Because they are. And we know that. And when we know somebody, it hurts. But the fact that we know it's not just Rowan and it's not just, there's hundreds and hundreds, there's so many people in a situation right now and they're being affected. And I'm happy that we don't. Yeah. So anyway, keeping it every time at every level towards that, and that it's medical and it deserves attention because it is. And the bill not being heard, it's information on a healthcare bill that's not being heard. And it's a healthcare bill because we have a law that says that cannabis is supposed to be considered on par with prescription drugs when the state deals with them legally in a certain way, you know. Which sounds nice on paper, but in reality, it's not being done that way. And you know, for a long time, it's really hurt to think about it to the point like you do, like, well, you want to feel bad about it enough to do something, but you know, you don't want to give more than you have to give, and you got to find that sweet spot, you know, where you can exist and not too much of you gets affected. And it's just getting easier to do now. The more the more the things become clear to everybody, it's I hope I live a real long time because I am going to be the guy that knocks on your door when you did something fucked up in 1993, and I'll stand out front of your house with a sign, whoever you are. Seriously, I'm going to. The former head of health in New Jersey, who is now working at Princeton, I don't know exactly how I'm going to work this out, but I get to have fun. And I don't mean in a really rude, crude way. Uh, I'm hoping to find people who are like, yeah, man, you were right. That's all it's going to take. I want to hear it. When they say you, I don't mean me, them. I want them for me personally. I mean everybody that died before their time and didn't get to hear that. I've had my share of people say you were right to me, though, actually. And it's funny. You think it'd be more satisfying, and it's not.
I
Being
probably feel
right.
worse.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Okay. It's bad as I'm going to feel.
We didn't have to read the list to feel like shit tonight.
Yeah, right. Nah, but it's the fact that I see so much light for movement in New Jersey, and it's nice not having to beat on Scutari for the moment as much as try to encourage Coughlin and the rest in the assembly. Let's get this heard. It's like I don't want Scutari to focus yet because I don't want him to make a move. Like, okay, I have, because he's going to have an idea for a strictly regulated, only sickest and most hurt, and a very closely guarded small program. Let's do that first. No, 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 no. Not with the outlier thing, everything Pat was talking about. No, as a matter of fact, if you want to do something, got a bill that will affect every registered patient, and it'll help people register for the program too. See if we don't get back to 100,000 people quick. Or is that going to be an argument against it? All right, well then cut it off. Do it now. Get this bill heard. Don't you look forward to that? And that is when we want to help patients get there. In other words, I keep talking about targeted donations, and you can do it just by telling them with a donation that targeted, whatever it is, but getting patients who really want to get there. It doesn't take a lot of patience. I'll give you an example. Brian Cummings, he'd be exactly the one who'd want to show up in person and have his say. And he doesn't have a team to help him do that. And I say, whatever it is, whatever expense it is, there's some money that's going to be well spent. I haven't talked to him yet about that. I want him to get a little further along in his recovery process, but you know what I'm saying? It's if it is going to happen, and it's going to get a hearing. I don't want to be the one that didn't actually be fully prepared for having it, if you know what I mean. It's sort of like you'd be banging on somebody's door and they open it, you fall in and you're not ready. And that would suck. I've seen it happen. And I guess it's happened to me a little bit. But
All right, guys, I gotta go. So good night till next time. Call me if you need me.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Good night, hon.
Good night. Thank you.
Anyway, yeah, there's motion going to happen. Can't keep this down now. And I really do want to find out why it landed. I understand Pat's explanation and his point of view, and it does have merit. But we're not that lucky. I mean, it's the best thing that ever happened towards this bill being heard, getting reassigned, and I know that Bill Caruso can be really specific about the actual process that he, you know. So I'm gonna get other people's view on this because I think it's going to be interesting to understand. I mean, it's like throwing a dart and hitting the cork without looking. I hate to be suspicious of everything, you know, but I don't like to not see things coming. And when something doesn't make sense, has to have an asterisk, you know, got a little notation. Beware. Not confirmed it's a good thing. It could be a trap. That's what they want you to think.
The assembly is going to be friendlier to cannabis. Maybe because of Coughlin.
Yeah, well, just want to get the hearing. I want them to be friendly towards getting a hearing immediately. You know, tick tock, 3 years, you know. And there is, as Bill Caruso would explain it, you really want to get it done by a certain time. And that window is freaking closing. It needs to be posted with the next round of postings. There's no reason for it not to. Oh, no, well, we're getting started on the budget now. That goes all the way through June. Oh, by the way, then they go into a recess till after Labor Day. It's an election year, man. They're not coming back. It's getting towards the end of the first year. Let's see after the holiday season. Oh, then we start the second. Does it sound familiar?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. That's why I like the idea of just finding out from Coughlin's off the simplest of things. Should be an easy question to answer. When it's like it's not. You either are going to allow it to happen, you're not going to stand in the way. If it takes its natural process, which defined by their rules is the primary sponsor of the bill asks the chairman of the committee it's in to post it for a hearing. The chairman posts it or doesn't, as is the will of, in this case, the Speaker of the Assembly. And now when it's Senate President, we know what Scutari did. No, you can't post it 3 years. But now it's the Assembly version being a different thing. The thing is, it gets heard. It's the same bill. Having it heard in the Assembly, senators have access to that information. We win. Now they just look stupid not having their own hearing. They don't need hearing then. Let's save the process. There's already been a hearing. Everybody go read what happened in the Assembly, and then we'll have a vote. There. Boom. Yeah, I just feel the clock ticking. So it's kind of fun just starting out with the simple thing to force the issue rather than wait till it's forced by some sort of natural course. I don't know why some Assemblywoman Reynolds Jackson, I don't know whether or not she's asked for it to be posted yet. I don't know.
If it gets posted and it gets voted on and it passes the Assembly, can the Senate still take the bill down?
Sure.
And not vote? Really?
Yeah, the Senate can do whatever they want. Yeah.
Does that happen?
Not only can they do that, they could pull a Conaway and they could try to pass a weakened down bill. Okay, but not only one plant and only for the sickest people. You know, we've had all these pieces moved from different directions before. It's the first step is it being heard in whatever way it can. And I say it's like Steppenwolf says, fire all your guns at once. There you go. I don't get to quote Steppenwolf too often. All right.
Well, thanks, Jim. I'll talk to you on Thursday. And
yeah,
get it going again.
Yeah, and I can talk about Rick and his Rick Simpson oil in this meeting. It doesn't really matter, or does it?
No.
Do you like sign us off? Do you click a stop switch to this, and I can still see you here?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's stop the stream. Okay.
Yeah,
hold on.